everybody. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate this opportunity to get up and speak to all of you. Looks like I know quite a bit of you. That's awesome. But those of you I don't, it's nice to see you here. I'm Brandolyn Nelson, and I'm running to represent District 4 on Montevallo City Council. But more than that, I'm standing here tonight as someone who deeply loves this town and the people in it. I'm a proud Montevallo business owner, a former first responder, a University of Montevallo alum, and a parent to my wonderful 15-year-old, there you are, my wonderful 15-year-old daughter Shayla, who I adopted at 12. I wasn't sure I could handle the baby stage, so I just decided to pick up a half-grown kid, and I highly recommend doing that. I am also a lifelong volunteer. My mother taught me at a young age that you take care of the things and places you love. And that meant every Saturday morning from the time I was 10 until I graduated college that I was at our church, cutting grass, cleaning bathrooms, vacuuming the sanctuary. And I do mean every Saturday morning. I'm sure as a teenager, my mom had to listen to me grumble about that, but looking back on it now, it was the best thing she could have done for me. It made me mindful of community and aware that the spaces and places in our lives that we cherish have to be maintained and nurtured. That concept is what made me decide to run for city council. I am passionate about Montevallo. If you've been to just about any community event, a Main Street celebration, the Christmas parade, the Day of the Dead festival, Art Fest, or Tanglewood, you've seen me there. And not because I'm running for office, but because this is home. And I believe in showing up for the place you care about. I was drawn to Montevallo because it is inclusive, welcoming, and respectful of all of us. And like so many of you, I want my child to grow up in a community that is safe, supportive, and full of opportunity. Recently, I've had the privilege of talking to a lot of folks in Montevallo, either when I've been out door knocking or at my community listening sessions. We've had conversations about what people really want from their council members. And what I heard loud and clear is this: you want leaders who are present, leaders who are approachable, leaders who show up, not just during the campaign season, but all year long. You want someone you can talk to, who listens, and who follows through. You want to know that when you have a concern, whether it's a pothole, a downed tree, a water in your backyard, or you have a great idea for our city parks, that you will be heard. We've also talked about making Montevallo a place where people want to live and work and grow. Montevallo is that place already, but we want to continue that. And that means supporting small businesses and investing in those that are willing to build their businesses here. Like many of you, it hurts my heart to see empty storefronts on Main Street. I personally have built my business here, and I want to help others do the same and keep Montevallo dollars in Montevallo hands. But none of that happens without consistent, committed leadership. And that's exactly the kind of council member I'll be. In this role, I can't make a whole lot of promises because we have to work together as a group. But the one thing a city council member can do independently of the others is act as a voice for our community. And that is the one thing I will promise. I will listen, I will hear you, I will respond with respect, and I will take your concerns back to the council and work with the other members to find a resolution. Our local government should be a place where accessibility meets action. You should be able to access me and trust that I will act on your behalf. We deserve leaders who are part of the life of this city every single day, walking the same sidewalks, sending our kids to the same schools, spending our money at the same local places, and tapping our feet to the same music at Alice Cove. Montevallo doesn't need more politics. We need more participation, more partnership, and more progress. So I'm not running for a title, I'm running to be someone you can count on. So if you're looking for someone who's already showing up, who's already knows the heart of this community, and who's ready to roll up her sleeves and get to work for you and with you, then I'm asking for your vote. Thank you, and remember your vote is important. Please go out and vote on the 26th. Thank you.
Now we'll read the candidates' voice.
Hello, and thank you to everyone who had a hand tonight in putting this event together. I'm here to give you a little insight into my background. I obtained my bachelor's degree from the University of Montevallo in 2003. I obtained my master's degree from UAB in 2011. When I came to Montevallo in the year 2000, I worked various jobs like most college students do. I waited tables at Double Play, I lifeguarded at the swim club, and I even ran the community education program at our local elementary school. Now I'm a local business owner and a mother of 2 kids that are my whole world. When I decided to go back to pursue my master's degree, I worked as a paralegal focusing on environmental law and serving the Jefferson County Conservator's Office. For those of you that don't know what a conservatorship is, that's where we take care of hundreds of wards of the state. We take care of all of their financial matters. It was very eye-opening to see how many of those people needed us. Those experiences gave me the background to work across different collaboration, environmental issues, and environment. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Currently, I serve as the council person for 2 committees in Montevallo, the Finance Committee and the Montevallo Cooperative District. I also serve as a member on the Montevallo Water Board. All 3 of these are vital to our city. The purpose of the MDCD, if you don't know, is to promote economic development and tourism, and is made up of 3 members: the city, the county, and the university. It is funded by your sales tax revenue. It averages about $600,000 of income a year. To date, the MDCD has completed $12.8 million in projects in this city. And this organization is vital because it has the ability to complete large capital improvement projects without tapping into the city's budget. This administration has served many projects. Just to name a few, we put in 2 storm shelters, which the citizens were very vocal about the need for. We purchased a new fire truck. We expanded fire and rescue services, adding 2 full-time EMTs. We executed a hotel agreement with Cobblestone, and we secured the grant to update the Crossroad intersection. I have been involved with all of these projects since their inception. Now, the Crossroad grant was secured due to safety concerns, and if that intersection is completed, it will enhance the growth on the north side of town. It will pave the way for retail development that will increase our sales tax revenue. Again, if we are running the city like a business, we are losing money at that intersection. The primary income stream for this city is sales tax revenue. That sales tax revenue is what pays for our fire and police services and other pertinent resources across the city that we all enjoy. The city leaders are going to have to manage this growth responsibly, though. We don't want to lose the small town character of Montevallo that we all so love. My vision for the city moving forward is not a personal one. It's to follow the comprehensive plan that's already been laid out. If you don't know what the comprehensive plan is, it's essentially a blueprint for how this city wants to move forward. That comprehensive plan outlines the need for a community center and soccer fields. This administration is currently collaborating with the Board of Education on a high school gym project, and there is possibility of 2 regulation soccer fields. Honestly, I would love to see a community center come to fruition for our citizens. A few other things I'd love to see the city work on are increase their mixed-use development in your downtown walking corridor, and for the city to develop a long-term annexation plan to integrate unincorporated areas into our city limits. So let's get real for a minute. Everybody here wants to know, Sonia, why are you running for re-election? I initially ran 5 years ago because we as citizens were seeing our tax dollars continue to go to support the university while our children were going without much needed facilities. Both the university and our public schools are vital to the city, and both of them need assistance from our city leaders. Now, I'm not standing up here trying to help my kids. I'm standing up here advocating for your kids and your grandkids and the future of this city. I would like to keep my seat on City Council to see the projects brought to life by this administration. I have proven my commitment, and I will keep working for you each and every day. I pray that you will vote Sonia Swords on August 26th. Thank you.
Ms. Swords, thank you both for being here tonight, and also, importantly, as Julie said, for putting yourself forward to want to serve as a leader on the City Council. So let's give them both another round of applause. Now let's move
And I'm a candidate for District 5 City Council of Montevallo. Tell you just a little bit about me. I do have a lot of history, and I know you're not here to hear history, but I'll tell you a little bit about me. Came to Montevallo many years ago and loved it. It was the place that I wanted to make my home. So we're here and we're in the city now. So this is my town. And Kurt wasn't sure what I saw earlier was we were going to have an introduction and then another time, or?
We have 5 minutes for a statement from the council candidates.
And that's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I won't spend a lot of time on history, but most of you know me and know that I was in education for several years. I've worked in several different positions. Bachelor of Science from Auburn University, Master of Arts from the University of Alabama, Administration from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, Guidance Counselor certification from UAB, coursework at the University of Montevallo, and the list goes on. Personnel administration, ethics and legal issues, financial administration, all that, and that's history. Just telling you a little bit about me. I have 4 grandchildren, and one of them's married, and the others are in their 20s and early 30s. So that's just a little bit about me and my wife Joyce. To me, I have so many things I could talk about, but the thing that I wanted to put some emphasis on tonight is experience. I want to leave here people knowing that I do have the experience, I do have the time to put into it. I've served on public boards now for 16 years. I was on the county commission for 4 years, back when the county was just coming out of almost bankruptcy. We were in a few hours of bankruptcy. And then there was one term in between, and then I started serving on the county commission then. Had 1 vote out of 9, but people say, well, that won't work. But it did work because we worked as a team and trying to push this county forward. And this was also a time when the American Village came into being. The county commission at that time voted to help buy the land and pay for American Village. So we brought that to Montevallo. It was also a time when we influenced and worked hard to try to get the veterans to bring the National Cemetery to Montevallo. So it goes back to those days, and I know you don't want to hear about history, but we brought the county forward, and it's still one of the best county governments in the southeast, I'm sure. So that was a good time, and then 4 years with the county commission, 12 years with the Board of Education. And I had just about every job there is to have with the Board of Education. In charge of construction, in charge of the bus, all the school buses, in charge of all this during that time. So I gained a lot of experience in charge of construction. Then I was in with education. We gained a lot of teacher units in this system. We have some good schools in this system, in this city. We did renovation on the middle school. If y'all remember how the front entrance has been changed, we remodeled the middle school. Spent, I think it was $10 million, something close to that. We remodeled the elementary school. We've added a wing onto the middle school. We remodel the high school. We've also got money committed to build 8 classrooms for academics. Also commitment for a new gym, which is going to be around $9 million, and I'm proud to see the city get involved of helping us with that. The city's doing a great job with that.
Mr. Vice, that's time. That's time. That's 5 minutes.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
that's my 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And now we'll invite Ms. Eisberg.
I'm Roseanne Eisenberg. I'm the representative of the 5th District of Montevallo. I want to thank Shelby County Reporter and the Times Sparkle for their allowing us to have this meeting. I think it's really good for the citizens to be able to see the people who are running for office. Because a lot of times you don't get to see the person in reality. You see pictures or you hear things. So tonight you're able to see us and know what we stand for. I'm running because I have knowledge and leadership qualities that are beneficial to our district and the city. Having spent 20 plus years with various youth programs, transporting the youth across the state and across the country. I did this hauling youth with their horses. Did this connection with the 4-H. I was a Shelby County adult and youth livestock person for 20 years. So I can tell you a lot about kids getting stepped on and a lot of kids crying. But that's part of life. Being president of several organizations, local and state, national, I was learned how to delegate responsibilities. We raised $10,000 for a home tour one year with an organization I was with. We raised $15,000 from a horse show that was held here in Montevallo, Alabama. Having also coordinated the moving of 2 train cars and having the track put in at no cost to this organization. At the present time, I'm sure you have seen in the national news, heat. Well, we're doing our part in helping to reduce the heat by the number of trees in our area. We can plant 1 for every one that is cut down. It will be beneficial to our children in the long run. This will give us oxygen from the tree leaves and it will sustain life. So to me, this is a very big public concern at the present time. During my tenure, we have gotten various properties into the city. Because of 23 acres that came in, it's in my district, 5th District. That will offer us a larger tax base, more employment for our city. The interchange at the crossroad must come first. We can't get the 23 acres made into a shopping center until the road is done. That road will put in turn lanes. It will widen the area there. It will cut down on traffic because it will move faster, and it will cut down on wrecks. So we've just got to get the state to come on and move a little faster. But as you know, the state has a tendency to move slow. It's all things in the city government does. The council voted some time ago with the county for improvements to the high school. We are going to help with $2 million for the gym and the 6 additional classrooms that will be at the school. This gym will also be used for the city events that we have to help with the basketball and things, because our children who are in the city leagues do not have a place to always play it late in the dark. So this is going to help that out. So we'll just have to be patient, but it is coming. Also, that storm shelter that we got, as Sonia was talking about, that has been very handy for the people in the town of storms, because you know the weather around here is not predictable. One of the main things that I've been pushing for is the park out at Stevens, because we do not have a handicap park in our area. We have parks that we can use, but they will not accommodate a wheelchair, nor will accommodate a roller. And we need to do this. So in the meantime, we're going to keep pushing. I was out there today. There's still too much gravel. They've got to do some more asphalting so that people with the wheelchair can get out there, folks. Because to me, that's very important, that everyone should be included in what we have in our town. Because that will help handicap, that will help people in wheelchairs, and it will help mothers with strollers wanting to push their child. You can't do it, I'm sorry folks, at Shoal Creek. It just doesn't work, I've tried it. And you want to know if I have any experience? Well, I'm a graduate of
Ms. Eibert, that's time. That's time. Thank you. Now we'll hear from the group.
Good evening. My name is Alyssa Green, and I am running for Montevallo City Council to represent District 5. I am running for council, in short, for my children. I'm running because I want for them to see their mother, who has a servant's heart, that they do this by being a leader. My children are my, I'm also a little bit nervous, so excuse me. But I should start back by saying that I have been a resident of Montevallo for the last 15 years. I moved here, like others, to attend the university, and that's actually where I met my husband. After I graduated, I moved back to North Alabama for a little while, and I found myself looking for somewhere that looked like Montevallo. I was looking for a unique community. I was looking for a place that had a walkable downtown, that had beautiful parks, beautiful trails. I was looking for somewhere that really made me feel like I belonged and that I had a family. And when I had an opportunity come to me to come back to Montevallo, I realized, why am I looking for Montevallo in another place when I could be in Montevallo? So when I moved back here, just after a year of being gone, this is the place that my husband and I decided to put roots down. This is where we decided to have our children, our 3 children. I have a rising kindergartner. He'll start first grade this week. Go Bulldogs. He's at Montevallo Elementary School. I care about our schools. I care about our children. I care about your children, grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews. I care about our senior citizens. I care about everybody in between. It's important to me that it's an inclusive, that we are inclusive, that we are aware, that we are culturally accepted here. So when you ask me why I'm running for Montevallo City Council, yes, it's bring it back, it's for my children, but it is also for your children and to set an example for your children. I want them to see that there is somebody who may look like she's busy or has a lot on her hands, but I don't want that to stop somebody who's passionate. Because when you're passionate and you care, it's worth doing. It's worth the staying up late. It's worth being out there in the heat and in the rain, door knocking. That's why I'm running for city council. I'm passionate about what we have. I don't want to see Montevallo grow and be huge. I want to see us take care of what we do have. I want it to be sustainable. I want to be able to support businesses that are here and for our citizens to be able to support those businesses. If we can't sustain it, then we shouldn't have it. So how can we spend our money here? How can we stimulate the local economy? Those are the things that I'm interested in. Yes, this is my first time running, and I may not bring the experience that some of these other individuals have. And I think that regardless of who wins, I hope that we can all be considered to be on some of these committees because you bring wisdom, you bring mentorship. There's a lot that it can't be expected of just one person. That's why council is made up of multiple people, is that we've got to rely on those around us for that support. So yes, I'm running to represent District 5, and I'm passionate about that and excited about it, but I will be doing this with the support of people around me, with the community. And so, just think what else I would like to say. I am just really excited, and if you've seen me out door knocking, or if I've spoken to you while door knocking, I'm just excited about the opportunity. I've been in the community. I've been a little bit tied up being at the university for a little while, but I'm no longer there, and now I'm an educator because I am on that path. I am now working with students, which is where I realized working at the University of Montevallo that I was passionate about working with students. And so when I had the opportunity for the second career to be an educator and teaching photography at Calera High School, I knew it was something that I really wanted to do because I'd be able to have an impact on the community. I know that's not here in Montevallo, but those students also need that kind of mentorship, and I want to be able to bring that back into our community too. Just because you're a leader here doesn't mean you're a leader, not a leader elsewhere. And again, bringing it back to my children, if my children can see me being a leader, it's not about being the leader, it's about being a servant. I would like to serve our community, and by being a servant, you can be a leader. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening to Nervous Alyssa, and I hope that you'll vote Alyssa Green on August 26th.
And responsibilities of the City of Montevallo's mayor.
The first thing is to deliver for the fact the duties are, according to the Alabama League of Municipalities, to provide the services that the city needs. So that's their opinion of what a city mayor ought to be doing. And the other thing to me is, which has been an ongoing problem in our city, is the financial health of the city. And so one of the things I would want to do if I happen to become mayor, I would have to analyze the books and take a look at the financial health, the debts they're carrying, the assets they have, and go through the whole thing. And according to the auditor's reports that I have looked at over the years, there have been illegal activities take place in the city of Montevallo. And no one ever pressed the fact that illegal events took place. Bonuses were given out to 3 employees at the city of Montevallo, and that is illegal. If you give a bonus out, it has to go out to every employee of the city. Nothing was ever done about it. I don't understand how illegal acts can take place at a city and the mayor or the city council members don't even look into it. So I'm not happy legally with what's been going on in the city.
You have more time.
Oh, thank you. So in addition to looking at the financial health and other matters, I would also take a look at what other cities are doing. And for example, other cities are doing things differently than they are in Montevallo. One problem we have is we have poured millions of dollars into Main Street and we've gone nowhere. Although some people are delighted that we have a nice looking Main Street. We have too many vacant stores. I walked up and down Main Street and down the side streets. We have far too many vacant stores here, and the other stores are in a state of disrepair, and I don't think their owners are doing more than eking out a living. And so more's got to be done to help Main Street. And as we keep pouring more money into Main Street, it's being taken away from the rest of the citizens in town. And the city's infrastructure has been neglected for decades. And so I would look into the infrastructure situation, the money we have available. We've got to improve the sanitary sewer system, and we've got to improve the storm water system, because we've got flooding taking place in Hidden Valley, Arden, Indian Highlands, up and down over the road, and especially at the intersection of Shoshone and Overland. That should not be taking place, and it's been going on for decades. Thank you.
Thank you. If you'll take,
Sure.
You may want to take your notes with you, because he's coming up to the podium now.
Think you might get stolen?
No.
be able to read them.
Mr. Nix, same question to you. What, in your opinion, are the priorities and responsibilities of the city of Montevallo's mayor?
First of all, Kirk, I want to thank the Shelby County Chamber and the Montevallo Chamber and the Shelby County Reporter for hosting this event and having it in our beautiful library here. The responsibilities of the mayor, he's the CEO of the city, or she, and the responsible for all the financial things that go on. Think about the, really all that is what Rod was saying, that the city, all they really have to provide is, of course, water, trash, police and fire. Everything else is, quality of life that the city does. And I'm glad we do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be what we are now. I mean, Montevallo is prospering because of what all we do. Think of the city as just a huge cargo ship. And the department heads and the city employees are the crew. And what powers the vessel is your businesses in Montevallo and the citizens of Montevallo. That's your fuel and your power. And the mayor, he gets to steer the ship. Just keeps it in the main channel. But the city is very financially stable. We've you'll probably hear this later on again, but when we took office, our general fund was $1.6 million, and it's, as of the end of May of this year, it was 3.8, and our overall all city accounts were, when we took over, I think it was like 3.7, 3.8, and now it's 6.8. So we've done quite a bit in 5 years, and we purchased vehicles and given our raises. They get at least a 3% COLA. One time we got a 6% COLA. We've always covered their insurance, to help them out, because it's kind of a stair step. We lose employees to Alabaster. Alabaster loses employees to Pelham, to Hoover, to Birmingham. So, it's hard for us to compete financially with salaries for these larger cities. But the mayor is the CEO of the city. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we'll ask our second question, and Mr. Nix will begin with you. If you are elected, what specific skills or strengths do you possess which you believe will benefit the city of Montevallo?
I would say my leadership and experience. I served on the council for 12 years. One of those was Mayor Pro Tem. Ran for mayor on the last 2020 and got it to serve 5 years there. So I've been in council or mayor capacity for going on 17 years. And prior to that, I've served on just about every kind of board that Montevallo has to offer. And, we did back in high school, my teachers nominated me Citizen of the Year for the Rotary Club. So, just leadership. And been a supervisor at a local plant for 40 years. Been down there 41 years. Manage about $8 million budget. We do bridge timbers for Class 1 railroads. And if you don't know what bridge timber is, it's kind of a gigantic Lincoln log with apps and holes drilled in it. So I've got a lot of industrial sense and business sense. And I'm sure some questions will come up later on about what's happening with the hotel and the crossroads, but I'll get into that probably later. Thank you.
You have more time?
Okay.
Okay, all right. same question to you, and we're gonna grab you a bottle of water.
No, I don't want it, thank
You
you.
sure?
Yes,
You're gonna be out here for about an hour.
that's okay.
We're gonna put it there for you anyway. Thank you, Julie.
It's like Vanna White writing letters.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Thank you, though. Ms. McPherson, same question. If you are elected, what specific skills or strengths do you possess which you believe will benefit the city of Montevallo?
Sure. My life experiences are probably different from everyone else on the council. I spent 12 years working in large corporations. I started in marketing and finished in management. And so when I was first hired at the university, I was one of the few professors who had actually worked in the real world. All the other professors had worked in the academic world only, so I crossed both sides. I spent 10 years in college studying business organizations. And out of those 10 years, the best 2 years I spent were at the University of Arizona. It's in the top 20 schools in the nation, and they worked my tail off out there, but I learned an awful lot. My other 8 years in school were spent memorizing facts and regurgitating, and I did pretty well. So that's one thing that would separate me. I taught at the university for 45 years and 1 year at Mississippi State. So I learned to work with young people. They were all in the College of Business, so they were going into the business area. I could tell them what was ahead for them in the corporation. And for the city, what I would do is I would take this skill set that I have and my life experiences, and I would try to straighten out an organization that has never really performed all that well. And the thing that has bothered me the most, and I'm a student of the law, by the way, I've been studying the laws, reading scholarly papers on the law about what cities can do and what cities cannot do. And so what I would try and do is make sure everyone at City Hall complied with the law and dealt with everybody in respect. And so working with younger people has been a passion of mine. And in 46 years of working with students, working with administrators, I worked with the president of the university for probably the better part of a year, helping him understand what financial activities are all about. He didn't have any finance in his background, and he was running a university. And so I spent a good deal of time with him. So in any event, I think I have a lot to bring to the city, but my skill set is much different than anybody else at City Hall.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to our third
Sure.
question, and you'll go first with this question. So what are 3 specific things you hope to accomplish if you're elected mayor?
Sure. Put their financial house in order. Get everybody to comply with the law, which they have not been doing from time to time. We had all sorts of financial problems at the university under the Holly Cost administration, of which he was a member, and none of those problems were sorted out. He promised to do a financial audit, forensic financial audit, which he never did. He said it would cost $70,000. That was a gross exaggeration. In 2019, the average CPA made $165 an hour. And CPAs don't have to look at every financial instrument there is. They use sampling. And so if there are 12 financial statements, they might look at 2 or 3 of them, and based on those 2 or 3 and a thorough analysis of them, conclude that everything's okay at the city. But that would not have been the case, because the annual reports of the city indicated that they had problems. So that's one thing. You have factual evidence to tell you you have problems. The auditor's reports were written in such a way that the auditor had to hedge, if you will, if you follow my thought now. He had to soften what he wanted to say so it would sound palatable to the people who hired him. He didn't want to lose his job as an auditor, making good money, $165 an hour. And so that's another part of it. And the third thing would be I would try to bring the community together. And I want to just thank you for the moment. I'm not going to thank any of the officials here. I want to thank you guys for personally showing up. And I hope what you will do is volunteer your services to the city in some way, find a committee that you like, and serve on it and contribute to the city. If you can't do that, at least watch the Zoom broadcast and know what's going on. I will not, if I don't get elected, I will not be a volunteer of the city. I will stay outside of the city and critique their work. Because had I joined the city when I was asked to be a volunteer, my own reputation would have been tainted badly by that mayor. Because they violated state law, violated federal law, and violated their labor contract with their employer. And so we've had extreme bouts of people working for the city who are out of control, and we've had good periods of time.
Thank you. Mr. Dix, we'll invite you to the podium. So same question, same third question, Mr. Dix, to you. Nix, sorry. What are 3 specific things you hope to accomplish if you are elected mayor?
First of all, I want to address what Rod said. I made no promises whatsoever. I told him I would look into it. I did look into it. I called the League of Municipalities and got quoted that price, $70,000. So I don't know where you came up with that figure at. Everything is on the website. The audit's on there. You're more than welcome to go look. There's nothing to hide. If there was something there, I would have chased after it, but there was nothing there. So I'm not running down a rabbit hole. Now getting back to the question, 3 things that hope to accomplish if elected as mayor. Number 1 is get this daggone hotel built. We've been talking about it since 2008, and we need it built. We're losing revenue to Alabaster and Calera. That's $1 million. Matter of fact, we met with the CEO yesterday. He flew down here for the design review committee meeting and approved the facade. Thank you, Courtney and Melinda and Franklin and Julie that serve on that board. That's going to be big for Montevallo. It's going to look nice. And we'll start recouping revenue that we're losing. The second thing is get this crossroad project going. Ted Metz, back in 1996, we were in a town hall meeting, and he referred to 119 coming into Montevallo as a yellow brick road. And I kind of adopted that. I'm not going to say I stole it from him, but I've kind of adopted that saying as yellow brick road coming in. So we get this Crossroads project, that's a $2.1 million project that we missed out on the first round. And I told Steve, I said, we're going to change tactics here. I said, let's get some heavy hitters in. So we got John with Shelby County Commission, John Stewart with the University of Montevallo. We got April Weaver and Russell Bedsole and Kenneth Patchell. We got all them on board. We got our safety stuff together, and we got the grant. So once that's up and running, everything's, it's just fooling without dot takes time. So we got that going. The third thing is the development at Crossroads on the 23 acres up there. That's when I was campaigning back in 2020, those residents on the north end of the town didn't even know where Oil Park was. So I told Steve, I said, this means they're not shopping in Montevallo. They're shopping in Calera and Alabaster. I said, we're going to pursue getting this. So the developer actually called us and said, I understand y'all are open for business. I said, you dang straight we are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep forgetting I'm next.
Sorry about that. I need you to do a better job, I apologize. So, we've indicated that your leadership responsibilities, et cetera, with the mayor. One could also say it's also sort of a sales position as well. So, to both of you, but starting with Mr. Nix, in your opinion, what are Montevallo's biggest economic strengths and weaknesses, and how do you as mayor plan to take advantage of those strengths and overcome any weaknesses?
Our biggest strength is, number one, volunteerism. Without the volunteers, Montevallo would be nothing. So, we depend on that. We also depend on, I call it the three-headed guru, and that's the University of Montevallo, the American Village, and the National Cemetery. Those are all big hitters for the city of Montevallo. Anytime I'm up at the American Village, especially the 4th of July, and I was out there looking around, and I went by the old red barn there, and I was going like, geez, I remember being in high school and out there with my buddies hauling hay. And I always tell everybody, man, I put a lot of hay in that barn there. And, out in the beautiful fields there that we used to cut hay. The big thing we've got to accomplish, though, is when people visit the American Village or the National Cemetery, we got to get them when they're leaving there to turn right instead of turning left, because right will bring them back into town. And that's the good thing about this development at the crossroads. Once it's up and running, it's going to have a lot of sit-down restaurants to attract people. And what does everybody do when they go to a funeral? When they leave the funeral, what do? They go eat, especially in the South. So hopefully we'll recoup some of that revenue coming into that we're losing. The University of Montevallo, you got parents coming here they'll stay in our new hotel now instead of going to Calera and Alabaster. Another economic driver that we have is Stevens Park, or some of all our parks. Ball Park, I'll put it up against any park in the state, probably in the southeast. I think we're probably the only park that's got Tanglewood carvings in it, which is great. We out there with Stevens Park, with our ball tournaments that we're having, Sonny can tell you on any given Saturday on the big tournaments, there'll be 1,500 people out there. And that's, especially on these tournaments that last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there again, those people got to stay somewhere, and guess where they're staying? Alabaster and Calera. So we'll get the hotel here, that'll be a big economic driver. And the Crossroads development, that's going to bring an estimate of $2 million worth of sales tax revenue coming in, and plus provide tons of jobs for local citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. So, same question to you, Mr. McPherson.
Yes.
In your opinion, what are Montevallo's biggest economic strengths and weaknesses, and how do you as mayor plan to take full advantage of those strengths and to overcome any weaknesses?
The situation in Montevallo is rather upsetting right now because the university is going through a very difficult period of time. They lost millions of dollars last year. From what I understand, it might be as high as $8 million. The president, I was told, was asked to leave, and I understand there may be 2 other people leaving. So the university, which for the years I was there, always did reasonably well. And the enrollments are way down from where they were when I was there. And so they've fallen on hard times. And part of it is because of what's happening in our society. Fewer students are opting to go on to college, and I believe the projections in Alabama are roughly that enrollments will go down for about 10 years. And so we'll have fewer and fewer students coming into the pipeline. More students can take online courses. They don't have to physically go to a university. Take them from home, And then whether they show up for graduation or not, that's up to them. So we have societal changes taking place. The University of Montevallo has been hit particularly hard. And it bothers me to a degree that that has happened, but a lot has to do with the people who run the university, and they weren't able to see what was coming down the road in the way of enrollments. And enrollments are going down across the country. More students are taking online courses. Fewer foreign students are coming into the country. And they normally pay 2 to 3 times the regular tuition. So when you lose a foreign student, you lose a lot of revenue. And so we have serious problems to deal with, just as the town does, regarding the monies that are available and the way that they are spent. So all I can suggest is they're going to have to analyze what's been going on, realize what's going on wrong, bite the bullet and make corrections. And we may wind up with a smaller university, which would be terrible in my mind, but that is a possibility. The president was forced to leave early, so we have a temporary president in now, and then a caretaker, and then we'll have a permanent president come in, and we'll see what he has in store for the university. So it's kind of up in the air right now.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. McPherson, we'll have you start question 5. So let's switch it up a little bit. A more general question. How would you describe the community when asked by someone wanting to move their family to Montevallo?
I would have reservations about it right now, given what we have taking place. There are some communities that are doing real well. Alabaster is thriving. As you go up the road, some are doing reasonably well. So it probably would depend on a person and a family and what they're looking for. If they want to come into a university community, this is a great place to come. On the other hand, if they're looking at the revenues that are moving around, the job opportunities, they would be far more limited. When I traveled up and down Main Street and went down the side streets a few weeks ago, I was amazed at the number of vacant stores. And the second thing that struck me was the stores that are in a state of disrepair. Years ago I sold real estate, so I'm into looking at the cosmetics of the city, the blocks, and the town. And so we need a lot of improvement here. The problem in the city has been that most of the money's been going to Main Street and the rest of the city has been ignored for a decade or more. And so we've been pouring all our resources into Main Street, which has its problems. We have empty stores. We have stores that are in a state of disrepair. And my area is business. And a lot has to be done to shore up the business community in this area. Now, fortunately, they have a university with a college of business, which can give them a lot of assistance for improvement. But they just haven't developed that relationship to the degree that they should have. So that's what I'm more or less, I say it's unfortunate the city and the university don't have the rapport that they should have to support each other. And that's been an ongoing problem. So I would like to see a much better relationship between the university and the city. On the other hand, the relationship in the past between the university and the city was not very good. The university controlled the city because the majority of the decision makers in the city were from the university. And that sort of an imbalance should not have ever have occurred. And so I'd like to see a hands-off situation between the university and the city. In other words, when a university starts to control the city that they're in, you've got a real problem.
Thank you. Mr. Nick. Mr. Dick, same question to you. How would you describe the community when asked by someone wanting to move their family to Montevallo?
Montevallo is kind of a melting pot. you got folks that's got a ton of money, you got folks that's real poor. We just all kind of just blend together. It's a great place to live. My family's been here. My granddad and grandmother on both sides of the family were from this area. He even got a hill named after us going out of town, Fix Hill. I know you older folks know that. The younger ones probably don't, but I mean the older ones do. My granddaddy did a lot of farming and house building in this area. My granddad on my mother's side, he worked in the coal mines out in Harville and Boone. So, you know, I've got deep roots here, and you know, would encourage people to come. I mean, we've got the university. Again, we got beautiful parks to attract the residents, you know, because it's all about quality of life. And, you know, the park and rec, and the city's thriving. I mean, we're doing really good. The future's really bright. I'm not going to go there. You know, the revenues are up. We're got new city vehicles, new equipment, buy 2 squad cars every year, bought a brand new fire truck, and we're putting money in the bank every month to save for, hopefully in 4 or 5 years, we'll save up enough money to purchase another truck or come close to purchasing. Trucks are expensive. They're, I think a ladder truck now is going to cost you about $1.5 million. And we got to have that because the fire load that the university puts on us, I mean, we got to have all that. The thing that we do have is we got an ISO rating of 2, which is unheard of for a volunteer fire department. I'll put our fire department up against anybody in the nation. We got some good people. And, you know, I get some calls, you know, when they have rescue and stuff, and I'm going like, ooh, they got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, go do this, and then they work a job at 6 in the morning. So it takes a very dedicated person to be able to do that. And I think with residents moving to Montevallo, if they knew the inside work of the city, that they'd be proud to call Montevallo home.
Thank you. And feel free to stay there. So the backbone of any community is small business. And I know there are quite a few small business owners out there, but I'm going to ask you a 2-part question. So if we go an extra minute with each candidate, that's okay. So 2-part question. What plans as mayor do you have, if any, to help attract new business to the city of Montevallo? And then part B, what plans, if any, do you have to help existing businesses grow in the city of Montevallo?
I'm writing that down. So
Yes, sir.
To attract new business, in this day and time, to get businesses to come to your city, you just about got to offer them some kind of incentive. We've offered with a hotelier, we got a lodging tax incentive. We're also doing the land where the Victory Building was. So that's our incentive that we're giving the hotelier. I think the lodging tax that we gave them was 5%, which at that time was our full lodging tax for 2 years. In that time, we've raised lodging tax to 6%. So when they get operational, we'll automatically start getting 1%. That, you know, people go like, "Why are you giving them 5%?" It's like, well, we're not getting nothing from them right now. You know, we get the hotel here. At least the first 2 years, now we'll be getting 1%. And the other, you'll be getting sales tax from them because guess what? When they walk out of the hotel, they're going to walk right across the street to Mary Moon's. or even walk right down the street, Indigo or Agave, walk on down to the tavern. So they're going to be spending money in Montevallo. So, that's kind of what you got to do to attract new business. The business growth of your regular businesses, that's you guys out there. You got to shop Montevallo first. I go to Lucky's and Pick and Save, and I'm in there all the time. And matter of fact, I'm gonna give a shout out to Lucky's. I was in there Sunday, walked by the meat department, looked up on the wall, and there was 100 up there. And I told the guy behind the counter, I said, "Congratulations!" And he looked at me funny, and I was going like, "Those are hard to come by." And you can ask my wife Melinda, if I'm at a restaurant and somebody's got 100, I'm calling the manager to go over there and brag on your workers. And that's what I did when I went up to the counter. I told the cashier, I said, I need to speak to the manager, and she looked at me big-eyed, and I'm going like, "It's no problem at all, it's good." So she said, "Well, she's over on aisle 1, so I went over there and, told her congratulations. And, that's what it takes. Just tell somebody, "Hey, you're doing a good job." That's hard to come by. But you've got to shop Montevallo first. Everybody out here. Getting gas. When I took office, going through the WEX gas cards of the city employees, I was looking at some of the police, and I was going like, "Why are you getting gas in Calera? Why are you getting gas in Alabaster?" And I talked to the chief, and I said, "They need to fill up here in Montevallo. We'll get our, gas to help them too." And I said, "I understand if they got to go to Selma or somewhere like that, and they go, oh, I got to fill up. I understand that, but we pulled that money in there, and I look at that every month when we get ready to pay the WEX bill. But shopping Montevallo first, supporting local business. That's how you make businesses grow. And I'll tell you, when Ace first came here, I told him, I said, "You need to put a sign out there that says reserved for the mayor." And they, kind of chuckled. After about the first 2 weeks, and I've been in there every day, they're going like, "You wasn't lying, were you?" But shop Montevallo first. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Ms. Rickerson, just to repeat, again, small business is the backbone of any community, and there's obviously a number of small business owners here tonight and throughout the city. So, 2-part question, and we're going to give you a little bit of extra time. What plans, if any, do you have to help attract more businesses into the city of Alabama, into the city of Montevallo, part A? And then part B, what plans would you have to help grow existing business in the city of Montevallo?
Now, when I taught at the university, I would take 5 or 6 of my seniors out, and we would try to help local businesses. So if they allowed us to come in, and we did go into a number of businesses in Montevallo, Alabaster, Pelham, all the way up to around Galleria. So I would take my team of students in, and we would tear the organization apart on paper, figure out what they were doing right and what they were doing wrong. And then we would meet and we would have a brainstorming session, and we would say, okay, what advice can we give that business? They've got financial problems. They have marketing problems. They have advertising problems. But they're doing a lot of things correctly. And so we would write up a paper, a couple of papers from the students, and we'd go back and the students would make a presentation to the owner. Here's what we recommend you do. And then we would try and follow up with them later on to find out if they accepted any of our ideas. So then we expanded. We went up to Alabaster, Pelham, and kept going up the road. And I took these teams out every year for a number of decades to help local businesses improve their operations. Now, some of them were open-minded and would accept our advice and make changes, and others wouldn't change at all. So we had one local business in Montevallo, for example, where we went in and we gave them some advice on improving their operations in Montevallo. It was a multi-million-dollar firm. And so they said, we're going to expand to Tuscaloosa. And we said, well, can we look into that for you and we'll tell you if it's a good path to take? No, we're doing it. Well, they lasted 2 years down there and wound up selling the operation at a loss. Now, the big mistake they made was I offered them free labor, my expertise, and I've worked in many large corporations in the dozen years I was in the real world. We consider academia the ideal world, though it's not ideal at all times. So I took groups out, and it did a second thing. It allowed the students to make contacts in that organization and other organizations. Maybe for some of them it would have been a job down the road for them. Because we analyzed the heck out of the company, I would have private meetings with the students. We would go over their analysis and figure, okay, how can we correct things? What else are they doing wrong? Oh, we can't correct those, it'd be too costly. So we used to help out as many small businesses as we could improve. And that's what I enjoyed most. Taking teams of students out who are about to graduate, take them into the real world, let them talk with some real business owners, marketing people, accountants, and so on, and then try and help them shore up that business based on the advice that we gave. Never charge them a dime. And we put hours in the field, and we put more hours in at the university, getting all our paperwork squared away to submit to them about how you can improve your organization and make more money. So we did an awful lot to help the business community, and I enjoyed that a lot. Now, I also did private consulting, and I charged a fee. But most of it was done with the students, and I think to the students' advantage. They were getting ready to go out and go to work for a company. And I gave them 6 months or perhaps a year's exposure to a company. We looked at what they were doing right, what they were doing wrong, and we advised them to make corrections so their organization would be more successful. Thank you. I got you that time. I remember.
Question 7, and we'll start.
Sure.
So, again, we talked about the leadership role as mayor. That also means sometimes having to make some difficult choices. So would you please share with the audience tonight an example of a time when you had to evaluate competing priorities with limited resources, and what factors did you consider, and how did you decide what to fund or support?
Okay. What I always tried to do, and I learned this in graduate school, we use an approach called participatory management. And you don't make the decision by yourself. You involve others who are close to the situation on your team, and you approach the problem with a team. Not one person dictating what's going to happen, but you bring a group with a skill set that can analyze a situation. Once you analyze it, then you sit back, you come up with a plan for the company, you submit the plan to them, and it's up to them whether they follow it or not. But you do your level best to try and help improve individuals and organizations. And that's what we used to try and do with the small teams that I went out with over the years when I interacted with people in the community. We helped some businesses. Some would not listen to us, but we gave them the best advice, and we didn't charge them anything. Unless I did it privately, then I did charge for my services. So we tried to do a lot out of the College of Business to try and help local businesses in this town and up the road. And it also paved the way in some cases for our students to get jobs to work for one of those companies. So it served a couple of purposes for the students and for the university. And so I have done consulting jobs, and I have not charged a fee, but I asked them to make a donation to the university, and I have worked that way. I've worked with students, and there was no money involved at all. We just gave them our best thoughts after a thorough analysis, and that was all we could do for them. And we hope they prospered and followed our thoughts. In Montevallo, there are far too many businesses. In what I would describe them, they work on the margin. They run the business, and they really don't make much money, but they enjoy running the business. They actually would be better off working for somebody else, but they enjoy the business so much, they'll stay in that business and run it as long as they can, and they'll eke out a living. They won't make an acceptable wage. We have a number of businesses in town that do that. They barely function. So I've worked for large corporations, medium-sized companies, and I've had my own 2 businesses. So I have a fair amount of background in the business world, and I can pretty quickly spot what's right and what's wrong, and I give them my best advice, and in most cases we didn't charge them. In a few cases I was selfish, and I charged a consulting fee.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Nix, same question. Again, we've heard reference to the mayor as the CEO and sometimes having to make some decisions. So would you please, for the audience, give an example of a time when you had to evaluate competing priorities with limited resources, and what factors did you consider, and how did you decide what to fund or support?
Well, with our administration, luckily that other than some projects looking at, when we do the budget, we kind of look at it and go like, well, we can afford this much going to this entity, this much going to this entity. Of course, police and fire, I mean, that's got to come first, and then street and sanitation. I mean, because those are what I talked about at the beginning, that those are necessities that you got to have in a city. We've been blessed that, we really hadn't had to cut a whole lot of funds out of the budget, and that's because of the citizens supporting businesses, local businesses, helps sales tax revenue. We were pursuing a recreational center, and it was going to be super nice. It's going to have 2 gymnasiums and a 10,000 square foot meeting space that with a catering kitchen that we could have had, in Penn South there, which would have generated a little bit of income coming in. Would have had soccer fields, 2 soccer fields, and I was going like, this is going to be great. It's going to be great. And I'm thinking, okay, what's it going to cost? 15 million. Yeah, we can pull that off. Yeah, we can do it. So they ran the numbers, and the numbers came back at 32 million. And after I got up off the floor, I told Steve, I said, we can't do that. We can't put the city in that kind of financial trouble. So that was a blessing in disguise, because about a week later, Dr. Brooks called us up and said, hey, you guys, I know y'all got a real high price back on the rec center. You looking for gym space? How about partnering with us? We're doing a 6 classroom expansion. We'll give y'all the old gym, and you'll have access to the new gym on the weekend and at night when we're not using it. And we're like, okay, that satisfies our gym space. And then they said, well, we got 15 acres down here by the elementary school that we'll let you have lease that for 100 years at $1. And that'd be a place for your soccer fields. I'm going like, okay, we'll partner for the gym for $2 million. Cost us about 1.4 to put the soccer fields, lighting and all that. I'm going like, 3.4 million? Yeah, I say 32 million. So it's being frugal with that. And I'm out of time.
And you will.
I'll say it this time.
We'll pose the final question for this portion of the forum to you. So put your vision goggles on. Where do you see the city of Montevallo in 4 years?
Crystal ball out here. I see the city thriving. I really do. I mean, everything's looking good, especially with the hotel coming online. That's going to be added revenue coming to us, and quality of life for visitors coming in. Look at the the Crossroads project. I mean, we've got a good downtown, everything looks beautiful. Our Main Street at Christmas time, I've always said, you know, it's a Hallmark card, you know, and I get visitors call me all the time. They're like, man, y'all's downtown is just so beautiful at Christmas. I'm going like, if we had a little snow on the ground, it'd be a little better, but I like snow for about a day and that's it. God, what's the train of thought? What was your question again?
Where do you see the city?
Okay, future. I went back to the past, but anyhow, the future is with the Crossroads development, get that going, make that safer, more attractive. We saw in the downtown area that when we spruced it up, that people took pride in what the downtown looked like, so they invest a little money in the buildings and really spruced it up and look a lot better. So we're hoping to do that at the Crossroads too. We get the developer that we spoke with just today. He's trying to get that whole area there, so it'll probably be 24, 25 acres when it's all said and done. We'll clean up that area, get rid of the fireworks stand, dress it up, make it look really good, you know. And then once we get the development going, like I said, that's estimated at $2 million sales tax revenue coming to the city for a small municipality. That's huge. So I really see Montevallo thriving over the next several years, and you know we've got a plan. We got a plan to keep growing and you know, make the best. And you know, the university is going through a little tough time now, but they went through tough times back in the 80s and then sometime in the 90s. And so it's kind of like a roller coaster, and they'll come out of it. They really will. But that's what I see in my crystal ball. So that's it.
Thank you very much. So, Ms. McPherson, same question to you. I said vision goggles, but he had a much better reference, crystal ball. Where do you see the city of Montevallo in 4 years?
I would say, number one, that's tough to predict, but I'll take my best shot at it. A lot depends on the University of Montevallo. They're the largest employer, and they have fallen on hard times. And as far as student growth goes, their numbers are projected to be rough for about the next decade, based on population data from this state and from out-of-state students coming in and foreign students coming in. And they have internal financial problems. They overspent their budget by about $8 million, I guess a year ago, and that's why the president's leaving early, and I think the vice president of finance will be leaving, and then there may be one other person leaving because of their financial problems. And we wound up with a president who liked to buy a lot of things, and he overspent, and he kept overspending. And they got to financially discipline themselves. So a lot of what goes on in the city will hinge on the university because they're the largest employer. And they buy a lot of stuff in town and from out of town. So that's probably one of the big issues that will be there. But assuming things can improve, we will have to see more stores occupied on Main Street and the side streets. And then the question is, what's going to drive more people to come into Montevallo? Because Montevallo does not have a lot to offer, and that's a problem. If we compare ourselves with Alabaster and Pelham, for example, we're talking about bringing a hotel in. They're putting 300 new rooms up in Calera and Alabaster. 3 hotels have already financially failed in this town, and my bet is going to be the 4th hotel that we're going to spend $1 million of the tax money on will also fail within a year or 2. And that'll be the 4th hotel in town that fails. So to me, it was the worst decision that could have been made by the people at the city of Montevallo, our mayor and our council members. All but one didn't use common sense. And they don't have any business background that would help them understand how the heck a hotel operates. But they went ahead anyway, and I would say blindly, and that hotel will be closing. So we will have ups and downs in our future. The college comes back and starts to do well, the town will perk up. Hopefully more students will come to town. The most difficult thing is most students today are taking online courses and not setting foot on a college campus.
Thank you, Mr. Person. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the question and answer portion of the forum for the mayors tonight. We'll now move into closing statements. That order was determined by a drawing held just prior to them coming up on stage, and that order will be Mr. Nix first, and then Mr. McPherson second. So Mr. Nix, you have 3 minutes for your closing statement.
Okay, first of all, I want to rebuttal a little bit about the hotel. The CEO that we spoke with yesterday, him and his investors are fixing to invest $10 million in this project. If they thought it was going to fail, I know of no business person that's going to go into a venture thinking that it's going to fail. He's got probably, 180 throughout the nation. This will be his 5th or 6th. They're fixing to build another one in Lincoln, Alabama. You bring up that Montevallo's had 3 hotels. Had one of them that Miss Annie Bearden ran. I don't even think a crackhead would have stayed in it. Reynolds there at university, it didn't fail. They shut it down because they needed student housing. And it was cheaper to convert that into dormitories than to continue to run a hotel. And third was John Roper, Island Apartment, not apartments, but Island, University Inn. John was an excellent business guy, but he had no business getting into the, trying to run a hotel. He didn't know anything about it. These guys, they know a little bit about running a hotel. Enough said on that. In closing, first of all, make sure you get out and vote on August the 26th, and tell your neighbors, because I'm really afraid, since we don't have anybody running in District 1, 2, and 3, that nobody's going to get out, and vote in those districts. I'm not worried about 4 and 5. That's probably going to be record-breaking attendance there. But 1, 2, and 3, we've got to get folks out and vote. I've got a pretty much proven record. I stand behind my record. We've got a very good council, but I've got homegrown roots here. You're not going to outwork me. I work a job at Stella Jones and at the tie plant down there. Been there 41 years. And still every day when I get off work, you can ask the fire department. They go like, man, you work out in 100-degree heat and you always come by City Hall, and spend an hour or 2 there. Then if we have meetings that night, I stay there. So, until the meetings are over. So I'm very dedicated about what I do. I think I've only missed, since I've been on the council and mayor, out of 17 years, I've probably missed, 8, maybe 9 meetings. That's pretty daggone good. So I am dedicated to Montevallo. Got a proven record. So come out on the 26th and vote Rusty Hicks for mayor.
Mr. McPherson will invite you to share your closing statement, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Now, I told you I'm a little different than the other folks on the council. I spent my life learning how to become a critical analyst, to analyze a business organization and improve it. Try and improve it. In some cases you can, some cases you can't. Of all the new businesses that open in a year, 75% of them can't be found 5 years later. So we have a very high business failure rate. And so when the mayor says They know what they're doing. They're going to come in and make money. I'm willing to wager cash with someone, if you would like to, that they failed within the first year or two, just like the 3 that failed before them. And the one on the university didn't have to shut down. They've got plenty of empty dorm space on the campus, so they're down 1,000 students, roughly, from what their high number was. But I want to take you in a whole different direction. For the past 55 months, you and your family members have been drinking poisons in your drinking water in Montevallo. And if you take the time to go to ADEM, A-D-E-M, Alabama Department of Environmental Engineering, Environmental Management, and look at our water reports, there are chemicals that they report on. And we usually test for just under fewer than 30 chemicals. All of those chemicals are in our water, and they all represent a poison. So we have poisonous waters in Montevallo if you drink the city's drinking water. I do not drink the city's drinking water. I hauled in purified water from Walmart for years, and now I have my own reverse osmosis system in the house that cost me $300 or $400. And so I don't know whether you know you have poison in your water, but you do. And you can have a test taken if you want for $300 or $400, and they'll tell you whether you have poison in your water or not. But I can assure you, you do. And roughly 98 to 9% of you have poisons in your system called PFAS, forever chemicals. And you can't get them out because they stay in the human body for decades. And they cause a number of problems. So what I would do is, since these poisons have been in the water for the past 4.5 years while he's been mayor, I call upon him to resign for poisoning you people and the 7,500 people who live in the town. Your water has poison in it. And if you don't know that, you can have it tested. You have poisons in your blood. Most Americans don't know that. But they're in your town water.
Tom, thank you.